Okay, I'll start with some line charts. First, I was curious about this measure, which is called the decimals. So when I double click, just wanted to check the values. Some may not be giving me too much information. Let's do average and convert it to the text. See, still not showing any information. Maybe try drag it to the dimension. This is a quick way to convert a measure to a dimension, and then now I can double click, which so the decimal only contains two values, 0 and 1. I believe it's more for the decimal indicator rather than the measure, so I'll just leave it in the dimension. So when you in the Tableau, you see all the dimensions are in the blue pail and the measures are in the green pail. Okay, remove it. First line chart, simply create with the show me suggestions in the Tableau. Is click on the date and then Control select another field. Now it's showing all the available options for me. Any of the charts being grayed out, that means it's not available for the fields you selected. So I'll just use this line chart, simple line chart here. Notice the fields in the column is the year. I want to see just and I can click on the plot sign to drill down to the quarter. Also, one more click, drill down to the month. When I hover over it, any of the dots, it's only the data for July, October, January, April. Only these 4 months available, so I believe it's a quarterly data. So I will just move it back to quarter. Also, this green pail in rows, it's currently defaulted as the sum of the measure, but I think the average makes more sense in this case. I was asking myself what this value means, but I couldn't really find the reference from the website where I downloaded the data. So this is definitely not a recommended practice. Normally, when we start working with the data, doing any of the analysis, we need to make sure we understand the fields so we know what we are doing. Another thing on this chart is I want to try do a moving average. Click on this drop down, and under the quick table calculation, there's the thing called moving average. So now you see the charts being changed a little bit. I can also edit the moving average. So still here this drop down, but under the edit table calculation, you see option is a moving average. It's using the previous 2 values and the next 1 value. But I think because it's a quarterly data, so it's a 4 quarters a year, I will just put 1 because it's a 2 previous, 1 next, and 1 current. So that's a 4. And then you see the lines is more smooth. However, this is really just the same as when we were doing the year and clear the moving average. So I'll just not gonna choose to move forward with the moving average in this case. But yeah, that's definitely a quick and a cool technique to do moving average in the Tableau. When we are having any of the table calculations, say the moving average, you see there's a triangle on the blue on the green peel. That's an indication of the moving average. Okay, Next thing I want to try is the trend line. Under the analytics pane, I can just drag this trend line. Here, there's the three options available for me in this data. I'm going to try with the linear first. Hover over the line, it actually gives me a brief information of this trend line. The R square is only about 20%, 21%. So let's try edit. Maybe use the exponential model. And the R square actually decreased. So maybe try polynomial. There's a significant increase in the R square in this case. You can play with it and see if you can increase more to find the model, describe the numbers better. For the moving average, lots of the finance data like to use the moving average. And sometimes when we're analyzing the stock or the sales of each of the certain products, sometimes it shows the seasonality. And when that's the case, it's a good option to consider the moving average. But in this case, it doesn't seem like a very good idea of doing it. All right. Okay, next, forecast. Still on the analytics pane, there's a forecast option for me. And it shows me here the lighter blue area is a forecast. I can just goes to the forecast options. I can adjust the forecast I want. Say I want the exactly 5 years forecast, and you're able to select the confidence interval. You can either select or just simply input a value here, but I'll use the 95%. Here, this forecast model, you can use the automatic or the automatic without the seasonality. Just gonna test it out. Seems like the automatic one is making more sense, so I'll leave it like this now. You see this, the light blue line is another trend line for the forecast. It doesn't actually makes more sense to me, so I'll remove it. So it goes to click on any of the line, right click on the line and edit all trend lines. Uncheck this forecast indicator, and the light blue trend line disappeared. So now this one is, I'm just going to rename this sheet as quarterly trend. I want to show another quick calculation here. Still the reference date and the value. Reference date and value goes to the line chart. But this time I only want to show the most recent years, say like the current 2 or 3 years. I can just click on this, control and click on this field, drag it to the filters and relevant date. You have all these date options, but I'll just choose the relevant date. The last 3 years. And the same thing, I'm gonna control click this one again, move it to color. Change it to another color. There's only 4 data points for each year, so you only see two boring lines. If you remember, we actually selected last 3 years, but only 2 years data available because in those data sets we don't have the 2022 data. All right. Another thing I wanted to show is under this path, there's 3 options. The default option is just this line. And then the second option is a step. So with this option, you see the difference between points, each dots more clearly. And the last option is this, the jump. But I personally like the line chart in this case. Another quick calculation is, let's just change it to the average for now. There's a lot of cases for any of the dashboards analysis we make for some of the executive team or for some people they're going to show, demonstrate in front of the clients. They wanted to see the running total. So here is the running total, and because it's really beautiful chart to use the running total, because you always see the trend line goes up and up. Especially in this case, we don't have the daily data, we only have the quarterly data. In a lot of cases, when we have the granularity down to the daily data points, you will see the charts being more beautiful, but it's not suitable for this data set. But it's a running total is definitely an option for and a good technique to know. So I'm not gonna use this chart, so let's twist it. And I can simply click on this icon to clear the sheet. That's just gonna bring back to like nothing on the sheet. Still the line chart, the ref date, and the value, and still the line chart. This time I wanted to do a spark line, which is I'm gonna put the type of unit in front of the value. If you notice, I actually tried to bring this view after this the measure, but it actually automatically goes in front of it. That is because the design, how the Tableau been designed, it's always the measure, the dimension goes first and the measure goes to the last. Also notice this value should be average. So this is a simple spark line, but I want to do a couple twists. First thing first is the axis. The axis title doesn't really mean anything, I'll just remove it. And I want the independent axis range for each row because now you see the range for each type of the units changed a lot. They vary, depends on the situation. And I don't really want it to include the 0. By uncheck this box, you see the there is more space to show the lines. Okay. So now I don't like the tooltip on this one because it's just being messy, so I'm just gonna turn off the tooltip. Another thing I want to add is the average line to pen, but I'll show the difference. So now is on the table. On the label, we can customize the label, and I'll just say it's the average. Here we can insert something. There is a 4 option: field name, field label, computation, or the name, or the value. I'll just put the value here. So notice all the average are the same. This is because we're under the entire table scope. If I'm switch to the per pen, you see the average is for that type of the unit specifically. I like it this way. Also, I want to add some labels to the line chart. So I'm going to enable show mark labels. It's too messy to show all the dots. Maybe the line and, or maybe the min and max. It depends to what do you, how do you like this to present. I'll say line and for now. Okay, so far, and this axis, I want to just clear the title because it doesn't really make any sense. Or maybe I'm only care about these types. For the multi-select, you use the control on your keyboard. I've multi-selected 4 types, and the right click, keep only. I'm just only gonna focus on these 4 types. So far, I've created 2 charts, 2 line charts. Oh, let's name this one. It's type of unit. Two line charts, one is spark line and the other one is the overall trend line. However, I'm thinking about this. If I'm for the later, if I'm creating a dashboard, but I'm showing the spark line for only these 4 type of units, but the overall trend line showing for all, that's kind of confusing. So I'll just apply this filter to the other sheet as well. The way we do it is use this drop-down list, apply to worksheets, and we can either just go to selected sheets, and that's gonna show the options there. We'll try use the selected sheets for now, and we will consider later whether we're going to apply it to all using this data source. What that means is any of the sheets we're creating, any of the visualization we create using the same data source, it will automatically apply this filter. So for example, if I switch to all using this data source and I'm creating a new sheet, attention to the filters pane. Doesn't matter what type of thing I'm clicking on, start with the visualization, you see this filter automatically goes into this box. So switch back to the select the sheets only. Yes. There's just these options. Only this sheet is like only to this sheet. If it goes to the other one, the filter is still there, but you see this one is only for this worksheet. The difference is like if I'm applying this filter to multiple sheets, any of the time I'm editing this filter, say I don't want to see the semi-detached, this change applies to the other field, the other field automatically. So that's the difference between using it to apply to the multiple sheets or only this worksheet. Okay, that's it for the line charts for now.